Welcome to episode 102 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
I'm actually pretty good. Week is flying by. Yeah. It's Thursday. Tomorrow might be Friday. I'm thinking about calling out tomorrow just to get a 3-day weekend in. And it's been busy early, but now it's slow. So why not? How about you? Working?
Yeah, steady working. Lots of stuff happening with Apple. I tell you, it's the next 2 weeks are going to be
crazy, man.
A little crazy, I must say.
Yeah, the rumors are flying.
Yeah, they're flying. So we're going to touch a little bit on that this week.
Some money saved up in the bank.
Worldwide Developers Conference. Yep, it's a week from Monday. So we'll give you some of our advanced thoughts of where it's going to be at, and of course we'll have a very comprehensive show the week after that show occurs, and we'll also talk about beta's a little active this week, not much but enough, and then we'll get a little bit of discussion about Plex. I got some apps we'll talk about, so it might be a little bit short show this week. We'll see where we go. So a couple items that were in the news this week caught my eye. First one is back rumors. Apple is discontinuing iTunes University, or iTunes U, at the end of 2021. Apple is going to discontinue this at the end of 2021, according to a new support document that was shared by them, the company. They are saying the tools are going to be replaced by next generation apps for teachers and students, which include classroom and schoolwork, plus the Apple School Manager tool, which is all that stuff is none of us really probably see unless we work in education. I thought iTunes U was kind of neat because you had a lot of stuff from like Stanford and a lot of other universities and other places like that would publish some of their content that you got to take for free. I mean, you don't necessarily get a college credit for it, but I think it had been lagging for quite a while. I don't think it was very active. Did you ever take a look at any of that stuff in iTunes U?
I never did, but I heard good things, and I could only imagine they're gonna make it better and improve it up. So that's a good thing. Education is changing. Obviously, everything's going to go. Right. A lot of it is still going to be remote learning, and even when things get back to normal, they're still going to do a lot of remote learning things because they're going to try to get used to it and perfect it. So it's going to probably be it's going to definitely improve, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think so. I think for the education for sure. I've kind of peeked at some of those new tools they have, and they're pretty neat. So, but it was well overdue. So, but let's go ahead and move on. And I think let's be a bit of a discussion here. We'll talk about the Worldwide Developers Conference. As we record this, Apple announced the full lineup. Finally, we've been waiting for a long time to find out what was going to be happening. So, of course, the special event keynote will happen on June 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific, and I am excited to look forward to it and to see it. I believe if you have the developers app, and if you are a developer, you'll be able to see it. But I believe they'll also broadcast it probably on their website as well as on YouTube and through Apple TV, just like they always normally do with the event. But the neat thing this year is nobody has to pay for it, and it's all virtual, and all these sessions are going to be happening after that. They'll have another event at 2 p.m. Pacific, which is called the Platform State of the Union, which talks about all the platforms, iOS, macOS, and so forth. A lot of stuff that many of you probably don't would ever watch. What's your thoughts so far with the excitement of all the announcement of all the events?
Oh, I figure I'm still going, even though it's virtual. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm going to be going. I get to actually go this time because I had never been. So now I'll be there virtually.
I'm actually going to go. I'm just going to stand outside the door and see if they let me in. Let me in. No.
Are you?
No.
Okay.
What do I think? I think the question is how the keynote's going to be. Is it going to be in front of a couple of employees? Is it going to be like a kind of one of those pre-recorded things that they do? They actually could get really creative, and they've done some really cool things before. Where what was the one year where Tim Cook was? I forgot what it was, but he was somewhere, and like he was in different countries, and then you see him running through the hallway, and then he comes in through with the phone, So they could really do a pretty neat thing if they want. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I did go to the one WWDC, and they did also have the state of the apps there too. So they'll do that as well. I don't know if that's going to be public or not, but it's cool. I'm guessing you and I, for the most part, we have the developer accounts, and we're kind of interested in the future of the operating systems. I'm guessing we'll watch Keynote and maybe a couple of the sessions and not really be too interested in most of the other things. But it's good. You can pick and choose, and I don't think they actually gave an end date either, did they?
Oh no, it's going till the 26th, so it'll be that whole week. So there's about 100 different sessions. Our link will be on in the show notes to the actual announcement on Apple's website. They will have labs, but I guess you have to make appointments if you're with an Apple engineer to get any technical guidance on Apple technologies. Probably too late to do that. I'm sure there's lots of people trying to jump on that. So, but we both have developer accounts. I don't develop apps generally, but I have it for work and for play.
Yep, same with that.
And it's not terribly expensive. It costs $100. Anybody can get a developer's account if you want, if you so choose. So it's not too
I like seeing the way the operating systems are going. For work, for both of us,
me too.
It is related to our work. We like to see, try to get a head start on the getting a grasp on it. So it's not a total for fun kind of thing. I think there is a little bit of work involved with us, kind of perfecting the operation. We got to show other people how to do it, so we got to do it too. So plus it's fun, and I like breaking my devices.
Yeah. So if you get the developer's app, you have to have the actual developer's app installed on your device to look at the sessions and be able to watch it. There's a link for videos which you'll be able to watch, and a lot of great tech talks are in there. And again, I'm not sure. A lot of the stuff you may not be able to see unless you have a developer's account. So which is fair. I mean, they're doing this for free this time, and they usually charge like $2,500 to go in person.
Yeah, it wasn't that much.
Not cheap, and plus it's hard to get because it's limited attendance too.
I put in for it 1 year thinking it was never going to happen, and then they emailed me and said we just charged your credit card, and I said, guess I should probably tell my wife that I did that.
I said, hey, honey, $2,000 just got charged to my account.
Oh, and I'm going to California by myself.
Oh yeah. And by the way, I'm going to San Jose.
But I loved it. I actually, I went. I didn't know anybody, and I still just went by myself. And I had a great time. It was cool hanging out in the
oh, absolutely
in the Marconi Center.
Marconi Center, I think it was at that time, and now they have it at Apple
Park. Probably nicer, but whatever.
At the Steve Jobs Theater is where the event is, but I think they also have at that Alt conference. They have that for people who can't get in.
Yeah, of course not. Just
you can. I don't know if you check that out or not. But I know our friend Chuck Joyner goes there every year too.
I was invited to a couple of. There's a couple of parties that were there, and I remember going to Yelp. Yelp had a party thing, and that was kind of fun. And it's a good time. But this is cheaper and easier. Although when with working, it's not as since we're working, it's not that easy to sit there and watch to watch all of it. So I got to clear my schedule for the keynote, and that's about it for the most part.
I think I'm taking at least a half day, maybe the day off on
keynote day.
On the keynote day. I usually do. In the years past, I would be on Mac for Mac Guys Only. I don't know where that's going to probably end up happening. Probably for the first time in quite a while. I'm going to do a reaction time episode. So maybe that'd be good this time. I can actually watch it live and I'll react after. well, because I will have an Apple user groups meeting with the iPhone special interest group on that next day on Tuesday. So it's going to be a busy week. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and then our podcast. And make sure you tune in, listen. This is June 22nd is the keynote, so that Thursday we'll be recording, and so it's a week from Monday. Crazy stuff. So we also have a link. We also have a link on Max on the Mac rumors. Of course, we gotta hear all the stuff that what's happening with that, and I'd like to touch upon this topic. It's a related technology because iPhones and iPads actually touch Macs, of course. The whole discussion about ARM-based processors. We had quite a discussion about it yesterday on Mac to the Future Go, and I've got mixed feelings about the ARM processor with Macs, and of course those are the same processors that the iPhones and the iPads have now currently. What were your thoughts on the ARM, on the whole ARM thing with Macs?
My main thought is if they're going to do it, is they're going to do it properly. People are like scared of this. The only thing I know is they're not going to make it so they piss off, the 80% of their user base. They're not going to leave people who just bought a $50,000 MacBook, Mac Pro in the dust with that. Right. So, I mean, there's going to be, if they're doing it, they're in the process, or they're done writing some kind of, framework that's going to be easy to just have both of them running at the same time. It's not going to be an emulation layer. Yeah. It's just going to be native on both, and they're going to continue doing both until they phase out the Intel chips. Right. I know there was bad history, and I know they did something with when they went to Intel, and people were a little upset about that Rosetta layer thing, but things were a little different then too. The Apple, Apple had less to lose and more to gain back then, where now they have more to lose and less to gain. As a company, they basically, back then they had to make some decisions for the future. Whereas this, even if they never switch to ARM, there's no real, they don't have to do it if they don't want to have to do it. So they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it the right way. And we'll see. I'm not a programmer or developer. People worry about programs not working. People worry about boot camp not working. I mean, who knows? They might have this all figured out already. And they probably, I know, they have Macs running on ARM at Apple headquarters right now, and they know what it's doing. So,
sure.
So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting.
And rumors say that the first chip will be an A14 chip that is destined for the 2020 iPhone lineup. That would be this similar chip that would, if not the same or similar chip to the Macs, being the main CPU, and there would be probably a GPU neutral engine for machine learning. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. And there was a lot of speculation thinking maybe they would come up with a iPad type Mac. I think we had that discussion yesterday, and I was kind of skeptical because I just do not think that Apple would ever make the Mac OS operating system with having touch support.
I mean, no. I mean, the way it's laid out now, it wouldn't make a good touch computer. To be honest with you, I don't think even Windows is a good touch interface either. So
yeah, I'll agree with that. And look at you we're recording live. You're using the XP background.
Yeah, well, I figured it's a little techie, so why not? I have a couple I've had Windows tablets in the past, and very rarely do I touch the screen. So I don't think Apple's going to do it either. I think they'll probably just continue with what they got on the Mac. I think they aren't going to change it much, and I think there might be some new designs because the processor could be thinner than it is now, which is good. They could kind of hopefully get a little bit crazier with designs. I don't know how or why, but at least on a laptop, there's not that much you could do crazier if you're not going to have it as a touch input, or you're not going to be able to bend it backwards to make it a tablet, things like that. But for a desktop, you could do some pretty funky things with a thinner display. So
yeah, you could. Same thing can go along with the keyboard. And we have a story in there. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Magic Keyboard, that's why we're thinking maybe they would come up with that type of Mac that you could take it off the keyboard or something crazy like that.
Well, they're talking about the new iMac being released with the T2 chip, and that's the rumor. And
right,
I thought if you have the T2 chip, you could get the fingerprint reader in there too, but you can't get the fingerprint reader. Right. So if you could do that, are they going to put it under the Mac keyboard, since it's like wireless or Bluetooth or something like that? Is it going to work? Who knows? But people have been asking for something like that on the iMac for a while, and basically having maybe the touch bar on an iMac, or having the fingerprint reader on the iMac on a separate keyboard would be in the future.
So moving on kind of the software updates, I'm not going to go through. There was an entire list on Mac Rumors, but I'm going to touch upon a couple things. That I think the biggest thing that's been talked about a lot is the home screen being able to have a list view, which I if that happens, I'm totally stoked, because it's such a pain to organize apps. I tell you, and try to find them too. So I'm so hoping that's going to come true. I'm sure you do.
I've tried to. I got my things kind of organized in a folder, but it's fairly good. But it's I would like to do more. I would like to have them alphabetical thing, whatever. But every time, to be honest with you, it's one of the few reasons why I refuse to, and I want to do a fresh install of iOS on my phone, basically without doing a restore or a backup, just to kind of clean up a little bit. But then I just don't feel like rearranging my home screen again. So
it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Tell me about it. Same thing if you do it on your Mac, try to do a boot nuke.
Exactly. Well, the Mac's a little bit easier to at least arrange, but the iOS home screen, and I've tried.
It's a lot of work to set back up the way you like it to.
And I've tried iAmazing, because they say you could have like a home screen thing to. It's just amazing that there's no, even now before they go to a different home screen, possibly. It's amazing now that I can't see my home screen on my Mac on a big nice screen and just drag things around the home screen and save it. Yeah. I mean,
and there was apps like that you could do it in the past. Did you? I forgot. Oh no! It was when you were able to manage it in iTunes.
You could do it in iTunes, but for whatever reason, the UI in iTunes it was horrible too. It was almost as bad as doing it on the little screen. I remember that. There should just be like a total easy way to like right click on something. That's what you need, like an icon where you can right click on there on the Mac and say move to this folder, and then something that says sort alphabetically. It's a mess, but I generally just use muscle memory and I pull down and search whatever I need to find anyways at this point.
I do the same. But I'm excited. Again, this is all rumor, but it's pretty solid. The Mac Rumors is very good at getting the information. So I think it's
they got an early build. Supposedly.
There was a leak out there. So they got a lot of stuff already. Because there's a link for their roundup. So the other thing is messages. I think messages will get some app mentions. I think they're going to sync it along with the Mac version of messages, so they both look the same, which I think would be a good thing. And then I was hoping that they would come up with some type of archive type of thing. You can archive messages little easier than you can now. And iAmazing does a great job where you can, if you hook your iPhone to that application that's on your Mac, you are able to download all your messages. I just did it. It's amazing. You could create a PDF of an entire message conversation. Then for legal reasons too, when people want to share that information to the judge or something. So that's obviously one way of doing it is by using an app like that. But I think messages needs a little bit of love.
And I think the messages they're going to port over to the Mac. They're going to use the Catalyst to do it, which is good because the messages on the Mac is certainly not as good as messages on iOS for a couple of reasons. And,
right.
It would be definitely a good thing, and there'll be more emojis. Of course, there's always more emojis. Yeah,
of course. I mean, you can't have enough emojis. I'm lucky if I use maybe 6 of the hundreds or thousands that are at our fingertips.
The thumbs up, just so I don't have to say anything else.
Thumbs up, and I do the smiley faces. I use and the cool. I like the cool with the glasses.
Well, yeah, I just like the thumbs up because it's basically the minimal amount of communication I could do with somebody, just telling them that
thumbs
good.
Up, thumbs up,
I like
thumbs
it.
Up.
It's fine. It's all good. I like it.
Yep. So typing indicators for group chat, because you never, when you had a group chat, you would not, between all iPhone users, you would never know who's typing. And now you'll have that, the bubble with the dots telling you that someone's typing in a group chat.
Right. Right.
And also an option to mark all messages unread if you so choose. And I don't think you were able to do that once you read it once. So some enhancements I think will come across with that. Other thing is going to be interesting to see is the AR, the augmented reality app that Apple's potentially going to be planning on introducing in iOS 14. I was at a press conference this morning, earlier this afternoon. I forgot the name of the company, but they're already coming out with a way where you can have a picture of like a living room or a room, and you can configure it real easy just by using your iPhone and putting things in place. So I know do you like, I'm assuming you're into AR, you like that stuff, right?
I don't know. Well, I haven't used it. I have a Oculus Go, so I have a VR headset, and I like that, and I think that's kind of neat. Yeah. And AR, AR is not going to be what I think AR is going to be at first, which is fine. But hopefully years to come, AR is going to be awesome. I mean, just having, just basically, you look at the future tech movies and have these things on your face that kind of tell you, basically everything you need to know, or everything that it could tell you about what's in front of you and what's around you. So that's it's exciting, definitely exciting. But it's not going to be the first iteration of it's going to have some, with the glasses at least. I'll have some issues. That's what I'm talking about. But with the with the app, I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious, but
it's going to be interesting for sure. For iOS 14. This is I can't wait. Can't find out about it. One last one I want to touch on, and we talked about this last week when I did my discussion about the third-party browsers, is third-party default apps in general, and they're the big three. You got your mail app, your browser, and your music app. But Apple may actually, allow to set third-party apps as their default. So if you want your music app default to be Spotify, then so be it. Make it Spotify. Apple's been opening up everything else by allowing apps to be available like on Android. So why not allow people to have defaults on iOS? I mean, same thing with Macs. You can have a default browser for your Mac. You have a default browser for your. I mean, I want to know about music on the Mac. I think you have to use the music app for that. But why not? Like why not allow these apps to be your default? You don't have to be stuck with what Apple says you have to be stuck with. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I think would be more more for the Hey S thing, because a lot of the things that you say will open up to default apps. So, and even though you can do it by saying like Hey S have A open this or Hey S have G open that, it's a pain. So if you could set your uh, default app, and Siri knows about it, and then you say, hey, S, play music, and you don't have to specify what app to use. That would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I just got an email from to check your email. We just got emails from the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference 2020. Here's a lineup, special keynote.
Yeah, we're official.
Yeah, this is and now you can download the app. Yeah, there you go. It's coming.
Yep, there it is. Apple developer. We're official.
We're going.
So, yeah, right. Good live as we're recording this. We got official emails.
We're going.
So it should be fun. WatchOS Sub 7. Not much to talk about. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time. And I know we talked about the blood oxygen tracking. They found some code that was leaked in iOS 14 that the Series 6 watch, which is probably going to come out, will be able to detect blood oxygen levels. I'm not going to go in too much into that, but I know it's a lot of people are interested with health and being able to do that. I know they already been talking about being able to check the blood glucose levels for diabetics. I mean, because that'd be a huge, having to prick your finger all the time to test your blood, and you can just have it right in the watch, be able to do it. So, I mean, what did you think of some of that stuff?
Yeah, health is definitely a big thing for them, and
it's huge.
It will definitely
it's huge.
See. I mean, eventually, I think they'll need. I don't think it's going to do much with the current watch they have now, but maybe future watches will have more. You're going to put the thing on, it's going to have like tubes and wires sticking out of it with the things like that. We didn't see much in the sleep tracking. Which is kind of strange too. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I like my watch.
Yeah, well, but we'll definitely save all of our discussion when that comes out. Like I said, a week from Monday, as we record this, it's going to be interesting to see. Next story I found was interesting, and this is probably more rumor for sure than anything else, and I don't know if it would ever come true. Is they, of course, we talked extensively about, we both have the Magic Keyboard for our iPads, and of course that's got the floating stand, a trackpad. It's got great ergonomics. It's I love it, and you're happy with it, I assume,
definitely
right?
Good purchase.
Yeah, I think it was good. I enjoy it. A Twitter user, I don't even know who the hell this person is, Love to Dream, has hinted that a Magic Keyboard for other iPad models could come out. And I'll be interested to see how that could happen, because first off, it's magnetic, but how is it going to connect? I mean, it's going to be, it would obviously have to be standalone Bluetooth. It couldn't, connect directly like it does with the Pro. What did you think about this? I think it's great. I think it's a little
I didn't see the article, but I know they have they don't have the Magic Keyboard, but they have the one for the what's the one with the trackpad?
A Bridge.
Bridge is but not that's and the Logitech one for the normal iPad. Is it for the 10.5? Is that what that Logitech is for?
I think it was.
I mean, that looks more like a Surface keyboard kind of thing. It's thinner and kind of fabricy. It's going to come down to price. Nobody's going to buy a $239 iPad and put a $350 keyboard on it. So
that is true.
That will be that. I mean, I haven't seen that many other. I haven't seen Amazon coming out with their Chinese knockoffs of this thing yet. I wonder if there's some technical reason why, but I can't imagine it. Hard to say. Mean, that would be fine if Apple gave other people permission to make these things, and that somebody wanted a trackpad, that'd be great. And I think a lot of people have iPads now and don't even know that you can use a trackpad on it. And I think that would kind of, even when an older or non-pro iPad, it would be, it would be a good thing for them. So I would like to, I would like to see it. Maybe I'll get one for my mini. Could you put one on a mini? I guess you could put one on.
Who knows? I mean, that's I said. Who knows? I think it's a little more far fetched. I don't see that. That's a little hardcore rumor than most of what we talk about here. So
I've heard this guy before. He's got a few things right. So
so that could be why this story was out there about that. So let's go ahead and move on to beta. Beta testing, of course, was last week. 13.5.5 came out, beta 1. And then they do it again. They go to 13.6. And it has to be the same reason they did it last time. Was that there must be an API included in the latest beta. So Apple does it again. They switched, they changed gears and they call it a new name in the middle of it all here. It's crazy, to say the least. And were you surprised at all they did this?
Sorry, there I am. I actually knew they were going to come out with another beta just because the last beta was.
Well, new one, yeah, I knew.
Yeah, so I knew something was coming.
That they changed the nomenclature again.
But I was just happy because the beta last week was kind of a mess. I kind of told you about that. They had some issues, so I knew they had to fix that. I don't know what the API change is. The only difference that we saw, and it's in the notes, is there's an option to automatically install the operating system update. There,
right? I was going to talk about that,
and some change in the health app. So it's not a huge change, and certainly no other changes I could see in the other betas in Mac OS or the watch either. So
right.
I'm just happy that my proximity sensor is back to normal. So
it's a good thing. It spanned across for like a couple weeks. May 20th is when 13.5 hit. June 1st, 13.5.1, as we talked about, came out with the security patch that everybody has right now. And then 13.5.5 beta 1 was released, and then that was really buggy. And then we got a little over a week later. Now we're at 13.6 beta 2 that was released out. So a couple of things that stand out. I think there's really the only two things we really found, as you mentioned, is the automatic updates. If you go into settings in general and under software update, most of us now have that button where you can set, automatically download all your updates. If you tap that in there now, it has two choices. You have download the iOS updates and then install the iOS updates. And you could turn off install if you want it to just be downloaded and then ready to go. And then you have the choice of being ready. So now you have a little more granular control of how updates happen. Because some people get irritated when the download happens and then all of a sudden it starts installing and it's like, God, I need my phone.
You read some of the comments when they did that. Not in a million years. People like to grow up.
Yeah, of course.
Fine. Let the thing update. What's going to happen? What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, of course. And then another thing that was added was in the health app. They now are allowing people who really want to track even more granular of their health categories. You actually can go into symptoms and be able to add data in there, about any particular things you have with symptoms, like acne or appetite changes and different pains and chills and congestion and all that stuff, and you can put all the data in there if you so choose. And if you really want to get more granular in detail in the health app, I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you weren't too into that, right?
I saw that. I haven't played with it yet. It could be part of this whole contact tracing thing. Maybe they could kind of use that along
that everybody's so
about.
Crazy over.
Or we could just all, get corona and, whatever. So I have no time for people who are that worried about this stupid API.
No, me either.
They either need to get over it or hand in their phone.
That's right. And then other last thing that was interesting is the in 13.6 beta was the in an Apple News app, your articles, it'll actually save your reading position. So if you forget where you read something, you can actually save where you left off, and you can go back to it. As before, you had to go back and skim through it and remember where you left off. And so that I thought that was interesting. They're really coming up with some cool stuff when it comes to with news and News Plus.
Yep, they have to they keep adding features to it. The app works. I mean, I have no complaints. I use it nightly. I read my news, and it's fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's all good.
So Jay, anything else that we missed? I don't think we missed anything. iPad is getting love too, so it's got some good stuff as well. So I think we're on the right track. I think it's going to be interesting to see if does 13.6 get released before WWDC. It'd be interesting to see where they're at. If that, or they're going to have they're going to have parallel betas.
They did have that for a while last time. Yeah, I do
recall that.
I think last year it was parallel betas too. I mean, we got to make it. We'll know pretty quick after the iOS 14 if it's going to be as messy as iOS 13 was. Like the first 3 or 4 betas of iOS 13 was kind of not really good. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I think this is. I think every other year they kind of switch, and I think they're kind of focused back on trying not to break anything again. Hopefully. Although if you're changing the home screen around, that's a thing. That has to work right. And if that's buggy, that's pretty much the entire experience of the phone. So we'll see. We'll see if it goes well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see what's going to happen. So, all right, let's change gears a little bit here, and we've talked about Plex a little bit in the last couple episodes. I've talked about it as an app, which is a great app available for your iPhone and your iPad to be able to watch movies and your own content by legally ripping your DVDs and putting them in there. But Plex TV basically is a streaming service. Basically, I mean, you get the 4 core things that are available on it is being able to manage your own media. What comes to maybe videos, your personal collection of videos, photos, and all that stuff, and it's in one place, and it maintains itself on its own server, on its own computer that you set up. Doing music and podcasts, you have that. Live TV and DVR, we'll talk about that a little bit, and then there's a lot of free movies and TV shows that are available on there now, utilizing stuff from content like Warner Brothers and Crackle, Lionsgate, MGM, and more that you can dive in and watch too. Of course, probably it's got ads. And I had not really got into this for a long time. I always wanted to do it, but I never did. And now just recently, I decided to dive in head first and really check it out. And you've used it for a while, right? And you've got one set up. But what did you've been? How long have you had it now? And what do you mostly use it for?
I think I set mine up. I want to say maybe it's probably about 2 years now. Okay. So yeah, I had a DVD library that I wanted to. That's what started it. We were redoing the basement and cleaning the basement out, so we had a bunch of DVDs down there. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? So I went in, and looked into the Plex, and then basically started ripping them out and got rid of the DVDs. Right. Of course, some of the.
But that's not legal. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to keep your copies and have backups.
Well, here's the real question. So the DVDs that I had down there were all kind of ripped from Netflix when they did DVDs. So I had a whole
Yep.
so I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter, right? So if I ripped a
I know
DVD,
it is. There's always a gray, as everybody should know, there's a gray area when it comes to.
well, there's nothing
ripping
great about
movies
this.
from
I totally
DVDs,
stole
so.
it because I ripped it from the Netflix. So
Yeah.
I had Netflix and they sent me
Yeah.
DVDs and I ripped those to the blank DVDs.
You're back in those days when the DVD service, which they
And
still
then I
have, by
ripped
the
those
way.
DVDs into my Plex server now. So, whatever. So I did that.
Yeah.
And then, I initially put it on like a laptop that I had lying around, a Windows laptop that didn't do so well. So I ended up buying kind of like Guy did, fairly cheap.
$100
This was like
PC.
$350 I'm looking at now, but it's beefy enough. And I had I don't know where I got it, but I had a 10 terabyte drive that I stuck in there too.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I have it hooked up. It's headless. I don't have any monitor attached to it, so I could just.
I've got mine on a 4-port KVM
so I
switch.
just remote that stuff.
Keyboard video.
Yep.
Well,
so I can remote on there.
But you can remote. Yeah, you can remote that stuff.
They had a Plex Pass sale that I ended up getting, so I got the Plex Pass.
Yeah.
And I think I got it because it was a mobile sync. That's what I wanted it. So mobile sync is if you have the Plex Pass, you could use your get your iPad out, connect to your Plex server, and actually download the movie to your iPad, so you can watch it on a plane or something like that, and then delete it out, which was kind of neat.
Right.
And yeah, it's great. So it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's easy to manage. And I have the app on all my devices. I actually have I was telling I don't know if we were live yet, but I have we were live. I have an Oculus Go VR headset, and there's a Plex app for that, a real Plex app. So I could actually sit on my couch now and watch the movies from my Plex server on my VR set, which is actually a great kind of thing. So I love it. Yeah, I'm losing in my.
Did you dabble in anything else like music or photos or any other other videos?
I put my photos on there. I think I'm syncing them from. I don't remember what I'm syncing them from.
Like just more or less could be like a backup, but also a place you can do a quick show. Right?
I mean, I put a couple photos on here just to kind of see what it did, and it doesn't do much.
Same here. It's same type of interface like as photos.
Yeah, I don't have any music on there. I mean, I have so many other things to keep my photos and music on that it's not really needed to do that.
I play the music. I put it in there, and it's interesting.
The only thing I do is movies. How many movies you got? I got 275.
Yeah, I'm well behind you here. I got 76. So I got a lot of DVDs to rip here. I got DVDs I still have that I pulled out of storage. I'm like, oh my god, I got sleep.
I'm trying to remember how.
And a lot of them are pretty old.
I'm trying to remember. I had a process down too when I burned them. I forgot.
I use Handbrake.
I think I used Handbrake, but maybe not. I think I might have found something off a set app that did it better for me. I can't remember what I used.
Yeah, I'll have to check that.
So, it's cool.
But the intent is on your iPhone or your iPad is being able to use that as a head at the head end and being able to take that with you and be able to watch that stuff. So it's pretty slick. And then of course it also has TV shows. You can get involved with that too and download a lot of TV shows you want to watch. But as I mentioned, it has its own content too on Plex, which it breaks down movies as well as news shows, web shows, podcasts, music. So it's really a big head end of lots of entertainment that you can watch, which makes it really impressive. What it's capable of doing.
Right.
I don't know if you've watched any of the other movies.
No, I did. I haven't, but that was added. I think about 6 months ago. They added additional TV channels for it, and they have free movies too. They have music on Tidal, so you could actually do Tidal. Yeah, you can get a 30-day trial of Tidal. I didn't want to bother because you have to cancel it when you're done. It's like
right. pain in the butt.
Yeah, web shows, things like that. So I mean, they're trying. And then the podcast, you could actually listen to your podcast. You could actually,
it's in one place. Subscribe to In Touch with iOS.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, this is for me. It's more of it's less of a music and listening app and more of a watching app. So things that generally I could do without Plex, I'm going to do without Plex. I'm going to listen to my podcast with the Apple Podcast. I'm going to listen to music on Apple Music with my headphones or my HomePod. So, this is basically for me just kind of movies and a couple of shows I have in there too. So,
yeah. And then the other piece that I know you haven't gotten involved in, but I wanted to check out is the actual live TV. Being able to get a external third-party device and actually watch live TV, but not only watch it, but you actually Plex provides a actual DVR, allows you to record the show, which is amazing. It's made by a company called Home Run HD, and we'll put a link in the show notes for that. And there's different types of boxes. The one I have is the Extreme, which has 2 tuners built into it. And what you do is you hook up an external HD antenna, over the air antenna, and it'll scan for the channels. Now, buyer beware, it'll vary how the channels come in and what you'll be able to view because of where you live and how TV channels work. And we're both in relative metropolitan areas that it comes in pretty well. But it also depends in the room if you're going to use what type of antenna you have. I just bought one of those really thin, flat HD antennas, and I wanted to try it out. But it's really cool, and it's got it's picking up all the channels that are available on all your local stations as well as all the other extended channel stations. So like here, ABC is channel 7, so you have 7.1, 7.2, and NBC's same way, and all the other independent channels that are available, but they all have great old shows you get to watch, and as well as all the network shows, and actually some of the channels that are on here are also on cable too, and it does it does a great job of recording. Unfortunately, the antenna I have is not giving it great reception, but it's sufficient. The only reason I'm kind of more into it is the fact that I can record these shows. I can set recordings, and just like you could do on any DVR, I have Comcast cable. You can set that on your X1 DVR. Same thing here, but this allows you to actually record the show. Not only does it have a smart system where it skips all the commercials for you, it records it without the commercials. It's amazing. I shouldn't have admit what show I recorded, but I wanted to. I hadn't watched in quite a long time from the 70s, the Love
that's a good show.
And so it was a fun show to watch. I actually enjoyed that show. That's why I wanted to watch it. And and Joyce DeWitt on there, remember her?
Yeah, from Three's.
Captain Stubing.
Joyce DeWitt with Three's Company.
She was a guest star. So I recorded it, and it perfectly got rid of the commercials, and it recorded it. And the other thing too is, of course, it records on the external drive that you set up in the Plex server, and then the file is there as a streamed file. You can convert it to an MP4, and you have that recording permanently. That's your copy, which is pretty slick. I was very impressed with that. It has a live TV guide, so you're looking at the guide, and then you set a schedule, whatever shows you want to record is in your DVD schedule, and you browse through your channels. And I believe they also do have another box that you can get a cable card and use cable TV with it, but it's pretty pricey. I think that box was probably right around $250, and this one here is still a little pricey, around 150, 179 maybe, or something like that. But that's the thing. You have to have an extra piece of hardware and plus an antenna to get this part to work. But you can get the one with cable TV and do that. But it impressed me the fact that you've got all this in one place, all this entertainment, and have you control it, which is great compared to your cable company. And you could, if you're a cord cutter, you probably could use this and be a cord cutter, because Plex has apps across all the platforms, not only on your iPad, on your iPhone, your Apple TV, Roku, all the platforms. You can get this app and be able to watch all this stuff. So I assume, like you said, you hadn't dabbled in that.
I looked into it, and then I have a Sling box instead, and I decided just to keep with that. But the Sling
Yeah, and Sling's changed a lot. Now it's got its own like service now, instead of it being like a box that you hooked up that you could hook to a cable box.
They still have
watch.
it. They still sell those, so they have both. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
So I have the box, which is what they call it, a throwing. It throws it, so it throws a signal from wherever it's coming into to somewhere else, and it works fine. We bought it when we moved to London so we could watch US shows, and now we have it hooked up in our beach house in New Jersey so we could watch Giants football games that are broadcast in Philadelphia. So that's all we use it for, really. But it does a job. It's not the best quality in the world, but it's better than nothing. They kind of abandoned a lot of that when they moved to their TV thing. So they're still making them, but they're not very good, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So that's Plex, and I'll have all the links in the show notes for what we talked about with Plex, and check it out. And what did you say that when you got the Plex Pass that you can get like a monthly or a yearly, or you can actually buy a lifetime? We both bought the lifetime. What were you gaining? What were you gaining by getting that?
I just took a look at their website, and this is what they see. So you get so you can't do the live TV and DVR without that. So that's why you need that.
For sure, you need that because of live TV. DVR,
the mobile sync is the reason why I got it at the time, because I wanted that. The rest of it, there's they had hardware accelerating, streaming, better bandwidth, and then it says free access to the Plex apps. Enjoy free access. Was it? Do you have to pay for the Plex apps if you don't have the pass?
No, they're free. So it might be just something. I don't know why I would be saying that. It's kind of weird.
And it was a good price. It was 2 years ago. I don't remember what I paid for it. I think it was a little bit under $100 for the lifetime thing. If I'm thinking right, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. So check it out. I paid $119.
Something like that.
I mean, think about how you divide out that for as much entertainment you're going to get, what you pay for. You can do some cord cutting and make up for that pretty quickly. It's a flat fee. So, all right. With that, let's talk about. Did you throw in an app pick here? I thought, is that you?
Yeah, I threw it in because they added I wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't get a chance. But they added
go ahead.
So it's remote desktop, the Microsoft's version of remote desktop connection or server. I forgot what they call it, whatever. But it's in the App Store. We could put a link in there, and the reason why I added it is because 2 weeks ago they did an update, which is makes the trackpad compatible with it for the iPad. And it really makes a huge difference. Basically, if you remote to, what I have to do is remote to Windows desktops for my job. And if you do that with the iPad, it feels just like you're on a Windows computer. The mouse is a mouse. The pointer points where you need it to point to. And it just works. It's a little bit small on the 11-inch screen but it does what it needs to do.
Yeah, but in a pinch.
It definitely works, and certainly it's easier to carry around an iPad sometimes to a location where you might have to do some support. So I just pack along my reading glasses along with that, and all's good. So yeah.
This is on iOS, right? You're talking about the iOS version.
OS, yes.
Yep. So we'll have a link to the actual app in the App Store.
I'll see if I can find it somewhere. You got it.
It's already got a link for you, buddy. This is available actually for the iPhone or the iPad. Both will work, but it's pretty tough.
I think I've done that on a real pinch. I had a server having problems, and this was a couple of years ago, and I used it. Might have been TeamViewer or something like that. But my son was doing a soccer game in the park, and somebody called me, and I'm like, okay. So I pulled out my phone and I did a remote desktop from my iPhone, and it was painful, but it was not as painful as stopping what you're doing and getting in a car. So
yeah. So my app this week is called Good Links, and it's a kind of a read it later type of link manager, but it's got some amazing automated functions. And, back in the old days, I mean, everybody used to use Instapaper and Pocket. Did you use those two services? I used Instapaper.
Yeah, I did Pocket for a while.
They're pretty old and haven't really gone much. So, but with a lot of changes, what happened with the iOS, there are a lot more read it later type apps, and this one was pretty interesting to me, and it just got released actually, and like apps like Reader and News Explorer is another one I've talked about before, being able to be able to add links. So this actually lets you add links and be able to read them later. And what I thought was cool is the way you actually can you can actually put them in a list and organize different articles or websites, whatever it is, and go back to it. But the nice, cool thing about it is its reading experience. It really gives you an amazing reading experience. I mean, it's just like having the reader view, and it does it for you. I mean, you just go in, organize these articles, and it works really well. The cool thing about it is there's a Mac version, iOS version, which on iPad and iPhone, and you pay one price for all three, which is unusual. You'd have to pay for the Mac version as well as the iOS version as well. And the cool thing about it is it does a lot of syncing between all those between all three of those platforms. So I'm seriously thinking about maybe using this as a secondary, because I'm a big news follower. Obviously, for you guys for the podcast, that's how I get a lot of my content, is to when I find out about things, I have reference to tell you about it, and I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this.
I will.
Yeah, check it out. It's a brand new app, and check it out. I'm still playing around with it. I only just downloaded it today, so it just came out. So yesterday actually it came out, and check it out. It gives you a nice flexible way of being able to organize links of different articles, and I'll be talking about this app more as I use it. So with that, I think we've come to a close for the show, and like we got some good content today. So I hope you
gearing up for a big show in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want to go like crazy because the anniversary show was a little long, so but it was worth it because we had a lot of blasts. Anybody didn't get a chance to listen to that yet, go back on episode 100, take a listen. It was a lot of fun with Kelly Gumont. But yeah, we got to gear up.
She's fun. I liked her.
Yeah,
I'm starting
she's
to
good
listen
people.
to her thing now. I subscribe to her.
Yeah, the Daily Observations podcast.
Yes,
it's nice. Mac Observers. Yep, it's good stuff. And it's short and sweet. It's a short show, like 25-30 minutes. So good quick listen. So let's go ahead and wrap things up for this week. Shall we do that, Warren?
Works for me. I'm ready to go to sleep.
Come on, it's still early. That's all right, everybody. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. I want to hear from you guys. Send us an email, feedback@intouchwithios.com. No matter what it is, I'd like to hear about it. Give us some reviews on iTunes. We were always looking for good reviews or bads if something's not right. But please send the feedback to the email address, and we'd love to hear from you. You also can follow us on Twitter. Shout out to us at In Touch with iOS, and you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, which includes Apple Podcasts and many others. There's plenty of them out there, including Good Pods. We talked about that last week. Check us out there as well. But be sure you go to our website, and you'll find out everything about us at intouchwithios.com. All the links are on the right side of that page of how to listen to us. They're all there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Warren, you're at the Mac to the Future page. And anything going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, people are active. A couple of people getting ready for the big announcements and getting a little antsy. So yeah, it's been it's been nice and civil, which is a good thing. So
yeah, it seems like there hasn't been any hostile things going on. But it's a fun page. There's never much hostile stuff. You guys keep it in check. So,
the members are good. I mean, it's a good.
Yes, we are. We have a lot of fun on that page. That's Mac to the Future that's a Facebook group, and come check us out. I'm out there as well. I always post some fun things. So anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it, and we will talk to you again soon.